Welcome back. Tonight, while we cruise through Need for Speed heat, I'll be sharing some of the most unsettling Reddit horror stories I could find. These stories start off normal, but trust me, they don't stay that way for long. So sit back, enjoy the drive, and let's get into the first story. Our next story isn't about ghosts, monsters, or anything supernatural. It's about something much more ordinary. A long drive, a tired father, a family holiday, and one tiny irritation that slowly becomes impossible to ignore. "Dad, are we nearly there yet?" "No," I sighed, gripping the wheel tighter. I'd been driving for 5 hours straight when it first hit. A tiny tickle on the underside of my right foot. Nothing really, then something, then everything. I flexed my toes inside my shoe, rubbed it back and forth, stomped my foot over and over. It didn't help. Nothing helped. "Dad, he's on my side again." "No, I'm not." "Mum?" "Both of you." "Stop it," my wife snapped. Rain hammered the windscreen. Roadworks lined the motorway. Barriers on both sides. No hard shoulder. Steady moving traffic. No exits for miles. The itch dug deeper. Not painful. No, far worse than painful. Persistent. Demanding. Infuriating. The softest of feathers stroking the bottom of the foot. I rubbed my foot against the floor again. Nothing. And to top it off, a countdown was ticking in my head. If we miss the ferry, we miss the flight. Miss the flight, then we lose the hotel and the entire holiday. Months and months of saving. No, I can't stop now. Just another 10 minutes maybe. The kids started arguing again, louder this time. My daughter crying, my son shouting, my wife snapping at both of them. The itch burned. It tickled and teased. Then it burned again. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't hear straight. All I could think about was dragging my nails across that spot. Just once, just for a second, to feel that absolute bliss of scratching that unbearable itch away. I almost closed my eyes at just the thought of it. "Dad?" "What?" I snapped. My son flinched. I didn't mean to shout at him. Silence filled the car, and the itch pulsed louder. "What is wrong with you?" my wife whispered. "It's my foot," I replied, quite angrily. "What?" "My foot itches." Nobody said anything. Then my son laughed. My daughter joined in. Even my wife held back a chuckle. Something inside me tightened. I don't know why. Maybe because I was tired. Maybe because nobody understood just how unbearable it felt. The laughter continued, and the itch exploded. "Stop laughing!" The car fell silent, and suddenly, I just didn't care. I slipped my right foot out of my shoe. The speedometer read 65 relief seconds away. Just seconds. Traffic ahead slowed. Brake lights everywhere. I should have been watching. Instead, I bent my leg, reached down, and scratched. The relief hit instantly. It was perfect. Electric. Fantastic. My eyes closed from the relief. Only for a moment. A tiny moment. But it was enough. A horn suddenly blared. My wife shouted my name. The children cried out behind me. I looked up. The car in front wasn't moving. I'll be completely honest. The last thing I felt wasn't fear. It wasn't guilt either. It wasn't even the impact. It was pure relief. It's strange how something so small can lead to something so devastating. Most of us have experienced an itch before, but hopefully, none of us have ever paid a price quite that high. Our next story takes us in a completely different direction, where love, betrayal, and something far darker become tangled together. Our next story isn't about danger on the road or a betrayal that refuses to stay buried. This one begins with something much stranger. A young girl hears her grandmother calling to her from the woods. The problem is, her grandmother has been dead for years. Grandma called out to me from the woods. My daughter Katie told me. I've been waiting for something like this to happen, I said to her. She looked confused, upset, frightened. I froze. I never met her, but she knew my name, and she kept calling, and it's okay, I soothed. Do you remember what I've always said? She brightened a little. Yeah, no one ever dies. Not really. I grabbed an old picture of Grandma and let Katie lead me to the place where it happened. She needed to face this. There's a boundary between this world and the next one, I explained as we walked. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. Katie looked thoughtful for a moment. Like the horizon? Between the sky and the ground? She asked. That's exactly right, baby, I smiled. In some places, the boundary is so thin that certain people like us, can hear that other world. Grandma could hear it too. Oh yes, she often spoke to people long past. This is the spot, Katie exclaimed suddenly. Yes, I sensed it instantly, the way the light tinted as it flooded the woods. The fluid feel of gravity beneath the feet, strange birdsong. Hey, Grandma, Katie whispered excitedly into the trees. Hey, sweetie, I gasped. It was my mother's voice. My heart fluttered. Tears welled in my eyes. I don't know what to say to her, Katie said, suddenly shy. Ask her a question, I suggested. Like what? Oh, a question about her, what she was like in life. Ask her what color her hair was. Blonde, like you, Angel, was Grandma's reply when Katie asked. Now ask her what color eyes she had, I said. Blue, but not as beautiful as yours, came the answer. With a heavy heart, I gave Katie the photograph I had brought with us. I watched the smile fade from Katie's lips, the blood drain from her face. My heart broke for her. Grandma, you had dark hair and dark eyes, Katie said quietly. There grew a sudden chill in the air. The birds stopped singing. Grandma's voice, when it spoke again, was no longer any voice I knew. You wretched little child, I'll take your place. I'll consume your soul, piece by piece. Katie cried out, and I clasped my hands over her ears. When your time comes, I'll be waiting. I'll never let you go. Never ever, never ever, ever, never ever. I pulled Katie away, begun to hum a tune my mother had taught me when I'd first heard a voice from another world. I needed Katie to understand, and understand early. Sometimes, in the thin places, you have to learn not to listen. Some stories remind us that not every voice deserves an answer, and sometimes the most dangerous thing isn't what follows you, it's what invites you closer. Our next story takes us even deeper into the strange and unsettling, where reality itself begins to feel uncertain. Our next story comes from a police interview. At least, that's how it begins. What starts as a chef talking about his passion for ingredients slowly becomes something far more disturbing. And trust me, the ending is not what you're expecting. Oh, I was always destined to be a chef, ever since I was a toddler helping my mum, R.I.P. I started at the bottom of the ladder. I was whatever French term, the kitchen boy, where it's all prep. I bounced around a bit. I know my CV looks a little odd because of that, but I had to find the right kitchen. And honestly, since I should be honest, none of them were good enough. None of them recognized my potential. That's why I pivoted to private chefing. Just me, no trying to appease CDCs or whatever. I had one video go viral, and bam, dream come true. Living in the city, booked out weeks in advance, getting paid handsomely to curate the best menu for any event. Of course, skill matters, but I realized it's the ingredients that matter more. You can't host an Italian dinner party without importing the olive oil. Tomatoes don't grow the same here as they do in Spain. There's no point in tuna if it's not bluefin. I'll admit I got a bit obsessed. There really is a best when it comes to sorting ingredients. You tell me you want a lemon dessert, and I'll taste test every batch of lemons on the Amalfi Coast till one tastes right. You say you want to honor your mum's heritage, and I'll find her mum's village, all the way in rural whatever country, and I'll gather the roots and leaves myself if I have to. I'll do the work, see. I'll do whatever it takes to make a dish perfect. This guy, the one you're interested in, he hired me for his proposal dinner. 5 courses showing their history, his love, and most of all, her. And I executed it perfectly. Tacos like the ones from their first date, an elevated version of her mum's goulash, ceviche, with the same kind of fish they caught on a couple's trip to Lake Erie, tarte tatin with apples from her grandparents' back garden, for the sentiment, not the quality. Then the main. He wanted it to taste like her, so it did. I was being faithful to my craft and fulfilling my client's orders. I really don't understand how that can be a crime pinned on me, but whatever, I made it painless. I only took a bit, minimized the damage, just a small sample, pan-seared, and served with a gorgeous warm salad and jus. I'm as surprised as he was that she didn't show. Who does that to a partner they love? Just rude. I don't really buy the whole needing hospital thing. I prepare ingredients well. I know what I'm doing. I was very careful. Sounds like a bit of a drama queen, but I told you, sauces matter, ingredients matter. I only serve the best. And when he said he wanted it to taste like her, what was I supposed to do except serve part of her? Interview terminated at 15:17. Some people dedicate their lives to perfecting their craft. But every now and then, obsession crosses a line that should never be crossed. Our next story takes us away from kitchens and into something much stranger, where the boundary between the living and the dead may not be as clear as it seems. For our final story, imagine hearing an emergency broadcast warning everyone to flee rising water. It sounds like a natural disaster, a normal evacuation order, but sometimes the real danger isn't where you think it is. Good evening. We interrupt our regular programming with an urgent emergency alert. Authorities are advising anyone currently near the shore to move to higher ground immediately. Monitoring stations have recorded an abnormal rise in sea level beginning shortly after midnight. Officials warn that the water is advancing inland faster than previously predicted. Although weather conditions remain calm, emergency management agencies stress that this should not be mistaken for a normal high tide. Surveillance footage shows seawater steadily swallowing sections of beach that remained completely dry earlier in the evening. Witnesses describe the ocean's movement as unusually persistent. Multiple residents have contacted authorities after observing waves reaching locations well beyond the normal tide line. Officials are particularly concerned because dangerous coastal flooding can arrive gradually, giving a false sense of security until escape routes become compromised. Emergency services are now receiving reports that large portions of the lower beach are completely underwater. Survey markers and temporary structures previously visible on the shoreline have disappeared beneath the rising water. Coastal patrol units have been deployed, but authorities emphasize that conditions are changing rapidly. If you are currently on a beach, near the waterline, or in any low-lying coastal area, leave immediately. Do not stop to collect belongings. Do not wait to see whether conditions improve. Emergency officials warn that anyone remaining near the shoreline risks becoming trapped as the water continues advancing inland. Once again, this is an emergency alert. Residents and visitors are advised to move to higher ground immediately and avoid all coastal areas until further notice. We repeat, the water is continuing to rise, and authorities are urging immediate evacuation. Further updates will be provided as information becomes available. Stay tuned to this station and follow all instructions from local emergency services. Bro, trust me, people are going to lose their minds when they see this. That's what Rio said to me this morning, and I can already picture the finished video. Dramatic music, shocked reactions, him screaming into the camera, and a thumbnail with a giant red arrow pointing at my face. Now I'm just waiting. I check my phone again, even though there's obviously no signal. Silly me, I let out a loud sigh, wondering what takes him so long. For goodness sake, Rio, if you're making some cinematic masterpiece, it doesn't need to take 2 whole hours. Then I hear a strange rushing sound echoing somewhere outside. I listen for a moment, then laugh, feeling oddly reassured. Rio is probably rehearsing his speech or playing with the sound effects again. Okay, very funny. I grin into the darkness, stretching myself as much as the space allows. Sooner or later, somebody is going to open this coffin, and when they do, this video is going to be legendary. Some fears come from what we can see. Others come from what we slowly realize after it's already too late. And sometimes, the most terrifying stories are the ones that completely change meaning in their final few sentences. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this journey, be sure to subscribe for more Reddit horror stories. Until next time, sweet dreams.